In interviews before the beginning of Flux, Chris Chibnall said something about the new character of Vinda. Something along the lines of, Vinda's story will break your heart. But for me, it wasn't Vinda's story that hit me the hardest. Whether you loved Flux or were disappointed in it overall, I think there's one thing we can probably all agree on. Well, I mean, okay, it's the Doctor Who fandom, we're never all going to agree on it, but a lot will agree on. Jericho was awesome, and his ending was the moment that pulled most at the heartstrings. So, I thought he deserved a video dedicated just to him and why he's so damn good.
Wait.
I may have to write all this down.
Professor Eustachius Jericho is a parapsychologist, I believe, residing in the village of somewhere in Devon in November the 21st, 1967. The way he was introduced in the period title sequence, experimenting on Claire with dark ominous music, extreme close-up of his writing and his eye, left us not immediately knowing if this was someone we could trust. Claire is, after all, trying to hide the truth from him. But the suspicion starts to wane in his very next scene when he offers Claire a cup of tea and his gentle, caring nature is first shown to us.
Here you are. Tea with honey from my own bees.
He's not taking advantage of Claire for his own scientific advancement. He generally wants to help as well as study. When the Doctor bursts in and interrupts his session with Claire, babbles stuff he doesn't understand and rushes out after Claire, Jericho is left there with a cup of tea in hand, which of course he takes a sip of in a bewildered manner. One of the many mannerisms of his that start, I think, to endear him to us. Even when he gets a bit uptight and frustrated with the Doctor, questioning and challenging her, he still manages to avoid stepping over that line into pompous. That's not an easy feat, given that the character's age and presumed social background, given the fact that, he can self-fund his research. The same lines in another actor's mouth could have easily crossed that line, but Kevin McNally imbues the character with such warmth in almost every line. He's just so damn likeable. Being an investigator of the paranormal, he also has an open mind, a willingness to learn, and even better, an excited enthusiasm for it. As the Doctor says,
Eustachius Jericho, proper scientist, under siege from the impossible, doesn't even stop to be scared, just wants to understand what's beyond his comprehension.
And then comes one of the real peak moments for Jericho, when we get to see the real character of the man. Up until now, he'd been well portrayed, likeable, and his enthusiasm infectious, but then we get him telling us,
I've seen many things beyond my comprehension, Doctor. I was one of the first British soldiers into Belsen at the end of the war. If you think a few stone statues will destroy my equilibrium, you are mistaken.
Now, I have to admit here, I didn't know what Belsen was. I actually assumed he was talking about a battle, and that would still work to a similar effect in the context, but the fact that it's actually a concentration camp, something I found out afterwards, just makes the moment even more affecting. Jericho has seen horrors, and he's got an immense bravery that again will be shown later in the episode when he faces off against the angels from the bottom of the stairs.
You stop right there! You are observed, and that is my power over you.
Or just before, when he tells the angels that are using his voice to go away when they're trying to manipulate him.
Loveless, childless, hiding in academia for fear of the real world. Always losing to a better man. A life of failure.
And he stands right up, determination on his face, and says,
You don't know me. You know you want to.
I have never surrendered, and I've no intention of starting now.
He shows his quick thinking here too. When the angel starts to form out of the television, he instinctively grabs something and smashes the screen. This whole collection of moments facing off against the angels are what make him a character not just to like, but to love. Some other quality Jericho moments from the Village of the Angels episode are the throwing of the cup.
What happened?
Sorry, threw a cup at you. I needed to shake you out of it.
And letting Miss Brown go first past the angel in the tunnels while he watches them. Foreshadow, perhaps, to the final scenes of his in the finale?
All right, Miss Brown, if you would care to go first, I will stay here and keep my eyes on this angel.
What was the gentleman, Professor?
I'm not blinking!
and how pleased he is to see Peggy once he's transported to 1901.
Peggy! Oh, you're all right.
Another humanising moment displaying just his immense warmth as a character. His experience in the war bolstered his bravery and resolve, but it didn't make him hard and uncaring. The episode Survivors of the Flux doesn't really have any of those hard-hitting moments for Jericho that Village of the Angels did. He was much more in the background, but that likeable, lovable personality still shone through, and there were various moments of comedy from him, and some rather rapid beard growth, it seems.
Several days later.
I hope it looks all right. I don't suppose we'll ever know, really.
The dynamic he has with Yaz and Dan is immensely watchable, and I genuinely wish we'd gotten more of it. They travelled together for 3 years, and it's only really with Jericho's relationship to the other two that it feels like much has changed in that time. I hope in the years to come we might get the 3 actors return to the roles for Big Finish to fill in some more adventures in that 3-year gap. But then in the final he gets to shine once again. His reacquaintance with Claire is a sweet moment, but it's when they both infiltrate the Sontaran ship as psychic test subjects that he really gets to show his bravery once again. He's put through immense pain being in that chair, but he takes it like the brave man he is, because he knows it's for a purpose, the greater good. And he's also brave when he loses his transmat ring, again telling Claire to go ahead of him. I think it's a shame he lost it in the way he did because he fumbled. I think it would have been much more fitting to the character if he'd had to have made some kind of decision to sacrifice himself. Maybe handing the ring to Claire because hers is lost, perhaps. But despite that, he faces his impending doom with grace and bravery, even facing off against a couple of Sontarans, and getting in some witty one-liners before the Flux takes him.
I will now execute you.
I really don't think you're going to have time.
It's probably one of the saddest moments in the whole series.
What an awfully big adventure.
Over 3 episodes, half of Flux, Jericho has endeared himself to us. One of the most likeable characters the whole Chibnall era has given us, I think. And in a way, that's why he was the right choice to die. It's a death that would hit the hardest, had the most dramatic potential. I'm sad we won't get to see more adventures for him after Flux, but there's always those 3 years during it, or maybe even some time before in his career as a paranormal scientist. Come on, Big Finish. You know you want to. So what do you think? Do you agree with me that Jericho was the best character in Doctor Who Flux? What was your favourite moment of his? And if you don't agree, who was your favourite? Let me know all that in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, share it around, subscribe for more videos like it, and all that jazz. See you soon.